How did a regime that once terrorized the world simply vanish? Well, brace yourself, it didn't. While the horrors of World War II are well documented, the fate of those responsible is often overlooked. Welcome to Nutty Histories, where we uncover the most bizarre and shocking moments in history. Today we're exposing what really happened to the Nazis after World War II. Let's dive in. Zones of occupation. After the war, Germany was split into 4 zones controlled by the US, Britain, France, and the Soviet Union. The goal? Denazification, erasing Nazi influence from German and Austrian society. But here's the catch. It wasn't that simple. Life for captured Nazis depended entirely on where they ended up. In the Soviet zone, former Nazis often faced brutal punishment, leading many to flee west under the guise of anti-communism. The French zone, however, took a different approach. Rather than separating Nazis from non-Nazis, they saw the war as Germany's collective guilt, denazification. Between 1945 and 1950, nearly 500,000 Germans were detained for questioning. That might sound like a lot, until you realize that up to 45 million Germans had ties to the Nazi Party. The process? Slow, messy, and full of loopholes. Imagine trying to untangle an entire country's dark past. It's like searching for a missing page in a library of 1,000,000 books. And then came a major dilemma. What to do with professionals linked to the Nazi Party? 90% of lawyers in the British zone and 3/4 of teachers were deemed strongly Nazified. The solution? They were quietly reinstated. Escape to South America. For many high-ranking Nazis, escape was the preferred option. Enter South America. Argentina, in particular, welcomed thousands of war criminals, thanks to its fascist-leaning president, Juan Perón. Using secret rat lines through Italy and Spain, up to 9,000 Nazis slipped into Argentina with forged documents. Some changed their names, but as Argentina refused extradition requests, many eventually reclaimed their identities. Living openly without consequence. Operation Paperclip. But South America wasn't the only place offering refuge. As the Cold War loomed, the US was more interested in Nazi scientists than Nazi criminals. And so Operation Paperclip was born, a secret mission that smuggled Nazi scientists into the US to fuel military and space programs. Many of these men had direct ties to war crimes, yet they went on to build the NASA program and advance US military technology. Their past? Quietly brushed under the rug. If it meant winning the space race against the Soviets and securing technological superiority, morality would have to take a back seat. The Nuremberg Trials. For those who couldn't escape, justice came in the form of the Nuremberg Trials in 1946. Top Nazi officials faced prosecution for war crimes, genocide, and crimes against humanity. Of the 24 indicted, 12 were sentenced to death. But the trials were controversial. While some saw them as justice, others called them victor's justice. After all, millions of Nazis avoided prosecution, and Allied war crimes were conveniently left out of the discussion. The end of denazification. By 1946, denazification was handed over to Germany itself. The result? A massive backpedal. Anyone born after 1919 was labeled brainwashed and exempt from punishment. In the US zone alone, 75% of former Nazis were reinstated, and by 1951, denazification was officially over. Was Germany truly purged of its Nazi past? Hardly. By 1949, 77% of senior officials in Germany's Ministry of Justice were former Nazis. Denazification? More like re-Nazification. The Nazi hunters. But not everyone let them get away. Determined Nazi hunters spent decades tracking down war criminals. Take Adolf Eichmann, the mastermind behind the Holocaust's final solution. He fled to Argentina, but was captured in 1960 by Israeli agents and executed. Or Franz Stangl, a commander who oversaw mass killings. Nazi hunter Simon Wiesenthal tracked him down, leading to his arrest in 1971. Conclusion: even decades later, some Nazis still slip through the cracks. As late as 2019, Jakio Palic, a former Nazi labor camp guard, was deported from the US at age 95. But as time runs out, the search for justice has largely ended. Yet the legacy of what was never punished continues to haunt history. That's it for today's episode of Nutty Histories. If you learned something new, like the video, drop a comment, and let us know what historical mystery you want us to explore next. And don't forget to subscribe, unless you want to become ancient history yourself. Thanks for watching Nutty Histories. Stay tuned for more mind-blowing history coming your way.